Before we had this church, just a few years back, we celebrated Mass in Roncalli Hall in the Parish Life Center. And at one particular Mass, I was going to have a baptism. So instead of having a beautiful baptismal font with running water, we had a little stand up front with a bowl, and that's where the baptism took place. So at that Mass, I was baptizing a little girl who was the younger sister. And the older sister, who was about 3, had been really well prepped by the parents. This is going to be a baptism of your little sister, and she will actually become a Catholic. She will join the church. She'll be part of us spiritually, and certainly for the whole community. So the big sister was very excited. But the baptism takes place after the homily. So during the homily, the older sister had to go out. A family member took her out. Meanwhile, I finished the homily, and I invited the parents and godparents, and of course with the child, to come up. And they were standing here ready to have the baptism, just when the big sister came walking in with her aunt, and she saw what was going on. And so she came running up the center aisle, shouting as loud as she could, "Wait for me, wait for me." Everybody reacted just as you did. And then because her legs were short and because the steps were steep, she then proceeded to trip up the steps. Her father reached out and took her hand and brought her up. We did wait for her. By the way, I asked the family permission to use that story because some of them are here today. Wait for me. What an important phrase. It probably comes from the depths of our heart. When we say wait for me, we're saying, don't forget me, include me, I'm part of it, I belong. And I've learned over the years that being included, and even more so, belonging is one of the deepest needs within the human heart. We need to belong. Oh, there are some people who say, I want to be independent, they want to be by themselves, they don't want anybody to know their business. I understand that. But even at that, we know we need to belong, that there's somebody out there for us. On the Feast of the Good Shepherd, we celebrate that we belong. Now, over the years, many times, this has been looked at in a very privatized way. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. You know, the passage from Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, he'll take care of me. I was thinking of the Gershwin song, Someone to Watch Over Me. You know, we all want somebody like that. It's personal, it's very special. But that's not what the gospel passage today is reading. Good Shepherd Sunday is celebrated every year, and we have a 3-year cycle. So in year A, the first 10 verses of chapter 10. The next year, the next 7 verses of chapter 10. Both of those are about the Good Shepherd. And then we're in year 3, or year C, and so it's just a very short, only 4 verses left. But there's a little change here. It's no longer just, the Lord is my shepherd, the Lord is our shepherd. We are members of the flock. And if you listen to the words, it's always the plural. I lead them, they hear my voice. I will not let anybody take them out of my hand, and the Father will hold them in his hand. Them, us. In other words, we belong not just to the shepherd, but we belong to the flock that he shepherds. And so that is a very important part of understanding. Our faith is not just private, Jesus and me. That really would be not terribly Christian. It's Jesus and all the other people that Jesus loves. And we are in this together. Just the other night, I was with the priest of the diocese. Every year we have a celebration for the priests who are celebrating their anniversaries. And almost all of us, were ordained during the month of May or June. So we do this every year. And there was a wonderful Mass, a beautiful celebration. Then we went to the hall at this particular parish. And there was going to be a dinner. And as I walked in, one of my classmates came up to me and said, Herb, we saved a seat for you at our table. And I'll tell you, I felt so good. I didn't have to beg, can I sit with you? Remember when you're in grade school or junior high and you get to the table in the cafeteria and as you sit down, they all get up and leave? Maybe that never happened to you. But anyway, they said, we saved a seat for you, and I felt good. But when I got to the table, and this was even better, I got to the table, and my classmates were all there, but there was one extra seat. And somebody reached out. We saw one of the other priests whose classmates were not there for whatever reason. And they went up to him and said, join us. You're now an honorary member of our class. I think the story for me was that we want to be included, but we also need to reach out and include others. Because that is the spirit of belonging, the belonging that goes with being members of the flock of the Good Shepherd. We have to be a good flock as well. Now, it's Mother's Day. We know that. And a lot of moms are going to be taking a breakfast afterwards, and I hope that you don't have to wait in line too long. We have cookies here. But it's easy to compare mothers to the Good Shepherd because mothers have to do some of the very same things. They guide their sheep. They try to keep them from going astray. They take care of them. But also, I've learned a good mother wants to include all of the members of the family. Before my mother passed, in the last few years of her life, she would often say, and I'm from a large family, she would often say, I certainly hope that after I'm gone, you kids, my siblings and myself, you kids will still watch out for each other. That you kids will be concerned about each other and help take care of each other. And I would always answer her, I said, of course we will, Mom. We like each other. I've learned since that many parents, and certainly many mothers, have that same desire. They want their kids to still get along when mom and dad are gone. Why? Because that's part of being the shepherd. You want people to belong to the flock and reach out to each other. And if there are divisions, to make amends of those divisions. We are called to unity. We are called to belong. And like the little child who ran up the aisle said, wait for me. Hopefully people will wait for us. And we wait for them. That's church.